Hello, and welcome back, Guardians and lore enthusiasts all. Kiwi here again after something of a brief absence. I know, not the best move to make when you're just starting out, but I kind of wanted a moment to relax and get my bearings. To that end, I wanted to make this video to sort of ring in the new year for me, I guess 9 days, 8 days late. So happy New Year, Internet humans. I certainly hope 2018 will prove to be an up on the previous year for all of you. For me, this year is going to be an interesting one, I'm sure. Specifically in regards to this channel, there are designs I have had for some time on the content I wish to put out. Obviously, the Destinyverse will remain my main focus for the time being and whenever it is most relevant, but it is not the only universe whose story I want to discuss. For example, my first love in terms of lore is the Elder Scrolls universe, and even though I know I'm probably a bit late to the party there too, this is very much an itch to scratch for me, so I will likely turn to that from time to time when the Destinyverse dries up a little bit and I feel it's appropriate to switch gears for a moment. And when I speak of the Elder Scrolls universe, I plan to have the plan I have in my head at the moment is a fairly rough one. For those of you who are familiar with the games and even some of the lore, organizing it is going to be kind of a challenge, as I want to cover the entire span of Nirn's history and as many of the factions and people and places I can in order to create, hopefully, a comprehensive archive of TES lore laid out in a way that, again, hopefully, will be easy to follow. So that's pretty complex. But the way I see it going right now is, I would base the content of each video on a specific time in history, let's say one video on the first 200 years of the First Era, and then all videos related to the First Era will be organized within the umbrella of that period, so events, places, groups, people relevant to that first 200 years will all be covered within that video or organized within that grouping. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, just nod and go along with it. The reason I want to do this is in part to continue to hone my skills. You can't see the quotes on the script, but there are quotations there. Anyway, I want to hone my skills here in terms of the quality of my writing, editing, and research. You see, I want this to be more than just a hobby. I want this to be something meaningful and lasting. So truly, and I will of course be including this in the same CTA in every video. But if you like what I do, a like or even a comment is encouraging.
I think we should leave him here.
And so I feel covering the TES universe in its entirety will provide ample content to work towards achieving that goal. And the Destinyverse will serve as my primary focus in terms of producing more immediately relevant content. So that's sort of the main idea at the moment moving forward, and in order to keep myself motivated and moving, I will aim to release a video at the beginning of every week, so expect to see a great deal of more consistent content from me in that regard, and hopefully more engaging content week on week as well. I'm not too sure if there's anything I'm forgetting to mention. Oh yes, so in each video I think I'll start linking them together end to end. I guess that's sort of a given. So at the end of each video I'll finish by outlining the next and start the next by recapping the previous, where relevant, in order to create a small sense of continuity where and when it might be important to do so. But also just generally for the sake of posterity, I think it might be a good idea to do that. Also please do keep me honest. It should go without saying that I will always endeavour to make absolutely sure the content I put out there is solid and reliable. I mean, I will occasionally speculate, but only when I can relate it to things I have seen in-game or in the lore itself. I mean, you shouldn't hear me say anything like, oh, did you hear Saint 14 had a thing with Anna Bray? And, just not point to anywhere in the lore or grasp at straws. That is the last thing I want to do. So, if I make a mistake or say something and it's wrong, please do point it out, because I do feel I'm going to make the odd mistake, and if it's clear I was wrong on any point, I will absolutely 100% fix it. It might mean extra work for me, but that's my problem, not yours. So do keep me honest. I would hate to put something out there carelessly and lie to any of you. The lore is a sacred thing to me, and it should be respected. So, yeah, you get it. Anyway, looking toward the immediate future, well, I want to take a few minutes to talk about my experience in the Curse of Osiris DLC. I've taken a bit of a break since my last video, partly to really take my time in getting into it all. And, all in all, I think this DLC has been pretty good. I say this based on how the DLC has affected our understanding of the Destinyverse through the story. In other words, what we as consumers have gained in the story from the Curse of Osiris. This alters the depth of our understanding of the lore and challenges what we assumed about some key characters. Thanks to the DLC, we know now just how magnificent Mercury looked right around the time that Vix showed up, and Panoptes just took a big grey dump all over the Traveller's work. We've now met and assisted the great Osiris in his efforts, and we've also seen the first instance of a named ghost, the appropriately named Sagira, which as I understand it means little one. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. This is huge, as before the DLC we only had a few legends to go off of when it came to discussing Osiris. Because of the new Lost Prophecies, we have gained some insight into Osiris himself and his fan club. You know, that cult with superfanboy number 1, Brother Vance. In particular, one bit of dialogue in the lore tab for Soul Pariah 6 indicates that Osiris knew full well he was going to be removed from the tower. He knew that it would happen. What else? Ah yes. Never more so than with the release of this DLC have we been provided with such insight into Vix technology and the nature of their simulations, something I plan to explore a little in my videos in the near future. I'll end this video with a little what's to come. I have, since the release of Destiny 2, been obsessed with one character that has been lurking on the periphery of the game's story, and one I feel is edging ever closer to the forefront. I talk of Savathûn. I think, by now, we all know she's around here somewhere, but oh where could she be? I have an idea, and I'd like to share that with you. I also have something of a review of the Curse of Osiris, a more in-depth one. It's a little late, but it's one that I wrote before Christmas and I feel like it might still be good to share it. I've attempted to angle it on its story in order to make it more relevant to the channel, as reviews really weren't what I had in mind when I set this channel up, but I think it could be useful for analysing the story a little, in terms of maybe seeing what's changed and really what we've gained. Anyway, that's what's coming on the horizon, and in terms of content, and I'll be back shortly to share those with you all. I hope your Christmas and New Year's was enjoyable, and good luck to those of you who made resolutions and actually managed to keep them 2 weeks in. Alright, take it easy people. Goodbye.